So we're in London at Cable Next Gen Europe. I'm here with Nuno Sanches from Vodafone. Nuno, good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
Now, you've just given a great opening keynote presentation for the event where you talked about the evolution of Vodafone as an integrated services provider. People still think of Vodafone as a mobile company, but just tell us how many broadband and TV subscribers you've got now.
So if everything that's been announced, if the regulatory approval comes through for all the deals that we've recently announced in Europe, I think we're going to be in the range of 30 million broadband subscribers, 20 million TV subscribers.
Right.
So we're going to be one of the largest players in Europe in the fixed space.
Right.
Although we are primarily a mobile company still,
yes.
we envision that we'll become an integrated player in most of the territories, and that's how we're reshaping the company to be.
Okay. So, everybody talks about how, video is kind of almost the key application to for consumers, but also to take care of in terms of networking terms and networking considerations. Mm-hmm. How has Vodafone gone around building its video service? Because you have lots of different types of networks in lots of different markets. How have you overcome that challenge?
So we took a two-step approach to that. First is we recognize that the key asset that we needed to build was a unique user experience, product and proposition, and that we had to go very fast to market with it. So we, I think, threw away the playbook a little bit, and we essentially just said, let's build it as if we were in a garage in Silicon Valley. Let's build this based on Amazon, full cloud-based, using standard technologies, and use OTT technology to make sure from moment zero we can deliver everywhere.
And not only everywhere, but over any
everywhere,
access,
over any device,
over any
network.
Right.
So, and then as a second step, say, okay, now that we have scale, where we have scale, let's work hard to use those networks to the best way possible. Let's bring the broadcast, let's bring the multicast, let's bring free-to-air DTT if that's an option, but let's use all these technologies as a way to reduce the cost of serving our customers after having already built the quality of experience and the quality of deliverable. Okay. But not prioritize one over the other.
Right.
I think the customer needs to be forefront in the experience if we are to compete in the modern world.
Okay. And this is something you've been developing over the past few years, but it is something that's now launched?
It is launched. We've launched in 5 countries now.
Okay.
We've been launching progressively since 2016, and we have the ambition in all of our properties that have television to have this single, global, consolidated product that we can grow us at scale and invest centrally and allow our customers, wherever they are geographically, to benefit from the experience that we're building.
Okay, and a very interesting stat you gave is the time from agreeing to bring the new service into one of your markets to actually delivering revenue generating services. What is that time period?
So today, the fastest we've been able to do this is 7 months.
Wow.
So it's been 7 months since we handshake and we say we're doing this to the moment that the first paid user is in the platform.
Okay. That's quite a lot shorter than normal.
It is, I would say, probably 1/3 or half of what we see as best practices. I think we benefit from this copy-paste approach. Is we really want to have scale, so we've built a product and we want to redeploy it in all of our properties. Same product, minimum changes, so that the users in a small market with low ARPU can benefit from an equal feature set to the ones we have in our more advanced markets, because that tends to immediately put us ahead of the competition, generate proper user satisfaction, and in itself becomes the benefit and differentiation. It becomes what we need on top of broadband, so that people, when making the decision for an integrated player, are not just considering typical commodity variables like price.
Right, okay. And then you gave what I thought was a very compelling takeaway for the audience of about 150, 200 people we have here this morning about kind of challenging the norm or breaking some barriers. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
I think that as an industry, we've been locked into a type of view of the value chain that's defined by the priorities of the vendor ecosystem. And the truth is that they are agents of resistant to change, as telcos are. And what we've seen is that had we followed what was the vision 4 or 5 years ago of a siloed product delivered by a single, we would probably not be the success story we are today. So I think operators need to think in a more white slate base as a startup would do, which is, I have a problem to solve. What's the best way to get to that? How do I get my hands dirty? Instead of concern of pushing that accountability to someone else and say, go build a vertical that I can, if it doesn't work, it's your responsibility. How do you take ownership of the same way you take about your network, the same way you take about how do you take the decisions around your products and services in a way that will allow you to be flexible, will allow you to make decisions independently of third-party roadmaps, will allow you to be in control of what in the end is, in our view, one of the last mature differentiators in the industry, and not be tagged along to someone else's roadmap.
And that can sometimes mean kind of upsetting the status quo even within the four walls, maybe doing something differently?
Well, yes, of course. I think our biggest challenge is we are a mobile company, and as a mobile company, we're used to think about problems in one specific way. When you go to pay TV, problems and products and services in general, products need to be thought differently. So the best example is the typical network deployment cycle, which allows you for 2 years planning until you're 99.9999% sure that your call is not going to drop. Where what we see from the successful product innovators today is that they don't fear going quickly to market, iterating quickly, failing fast, and then restarting. And I think that culture shift, it's very difficult within this type of industrial organizations, telecom organizations. And we're trying to strike a balance. We have a different type of responsibility to our users than a pure OTT, but we also need to match our expectations that service is going to be best of breed and it's going to be innovating constantly. And I think that's technology allows for part of that, culture allows for most of it, honestly.
Okay, excellent. Well, great, fascinating story. Look forward to hearing about how it's developed at next year's event. Nuno, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Been a pleasure.